What's up, world? Let me tell you about this beard growth oil I got from 12 tribes on Earth. 8 ounces of oily goodness with a nozzle that prevents sprays and spills, and soft ingredients that make it perfect addition to anyone's morning routine. From coconut to castor, all these oils are hand chosen. After using this herbal blend, the biggest thing I noticed is how soft and how strong my hair was, and how good I feel. Pick up your bottle today and make your beard the star of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been keeping my eye on Hurricane Erin to see how far out it is. And they said right now it's about 800 miles away from North Carolina. It's moving at about 10 miles per hour. And they are evacuating in certain locations in North Carolina, especially if you're in a coastal town. If you're more inland, you should be okay. But if you are not, people are already evacuating. Now, North Carolina is not going to take a direct hit, but they're saying like the outer bands may hit that coast, all right, which can be a lot of flooding or a lot of rain. And you know how these hurricanes are. They're packed with literally everything. They have wind, rain, tornadoes, everything is in there. So they're still not saying any state is going to be directly hit, but they're saying the entire East Coast will be impacted. And they're already rescuing people caught up in riptides. So that can be very dangerous and life threatening. So they've been doing those rescues over the past few days. So I have a video I'm going to let you listen to, and then I'll be right back with the rest of my commentary.
Well, thanks for logging on for a checkup on the latest with Hurricane Erin. This video as of about 6:30 on Monday evening. So we're tracking the storm, obviously still extremely powerful and getting a little bit closer, still about 800 miles away from the Carolinas. So this is something far off in the distance, but all the while still making a big impact to places like the Caribbean, the Turks and Caicos, the closest areas right now, some of the southern Bahamas as well. The storm itself, we're still waiting on that all-important turn to the north and then the turn to the northeast. We need that to happen for it to miss the Carolinas. The good news is that, boy, that still is expected. It's interesting whenever you watch and track the movement of hurricanes like this. You'd think they'd kind of chug along in a straight line, but instead they actually kind of wobble a little bit. We can see this as evidenced by how it's been chugging along today. Notice it went northwest for a little while, west, then back northwest, and lately it's been a little bit more northerly. It kind of maneuvers more like a staircase than it does like a straight line. So don't let that disturb you if you're tracking this on your own. If you see it looking like it's jogging to the west, it'll likely jog off to the north next up. That's the way that these things work, and you can see for yourself kind of the herky-jerky nature. In fact, the stronger the hurricane, the more it can tend to wobble like that. Hurricane Erin, this is the 5 o'clock advisory. We'll get new strength numbers at 8 o'clock this evening, and then new track and numbers and intensity at 11 o'clock. As of 5 o'clock, though, it is still a Category 4 storm moving northwest pretty slowly, only at about 10 miles per hour. This thing is not in a hurry. We'd like it to speed up a little bit. It's not doing that right now. It's about 700 miles southwest of Bermuda. It's about 800 miles southeast of the Carolinas. The expected track from here is generally like this. Now let's show it to you a little bit more cleanly. This is the Hurricane Center forecast cone. And as always, when we show this to you, it's important to understand what you're looking at. What this means is a path to the north and to the northeast. But the bounds of this are pretty important. What the Hurricane Center is saying is, hey, we have some certainty it's going to pass somewhere in between these goalposts. And when they say the center of it, that's really what they mean. The center of the storm is going to pass in between those goalposts. If it takes a track somewhere like this, there's going to be some real nasty weather at the Outer Banks because hurricanes are hundreds of miles wide. Erin is too. And so this is a fairly close approach to the Outer Banks. That's why right now that yellow shaded area, that indicates a new alert. That's a tropical storm watch. What that's saying is that by the middle and end of the week, Wednesday into Thursday, tropical storm force conditions are possible in the Outer Banks, especially the fragile most areas like Hatteras Island and Ocracoke Island. That's where the winds could be the highest and also where you could see some of that coastal overwash too. When we talk about really high waves, they just go right over the sand dunes and there's not much more to the Outer Banks than just simply some sand dunes. So that could flood those islands as we go into later on this week. Just to kind of show our work here and prove to you that this turn is very expected, this is that spaghetti plot we kind of call it. What it really is a bunch of different computer models all forecasting the storm. Last week, boy, this was a really wide spread of models and different possibilities. Now it's tightened up. It's close to the Carolinas, which isn't good, but they're all offshore, which should keep that strongest eye wall energy offshore, not just by a little bit, but by a couple hundred miles. I can show this to you in a different way. These are the odds of seeing tropical storm force conditions later on this week. Hey, by the way, if you're watching from the inland Carolinas, nothing. We're not doing anything this week. There's not any impact over here. However, for the coastal areas, Hatteras sticks out like a sore thumb. The Outer Banks, they stick out in the ocean the most. That's why they have the best chance of seeing some higher winds. So this would be the odds of 40 mile per hour or greater wind speeds this week. It's highest over there, not all that high at all in Wilmington. They're not likely to see high winds there. But what we will notice are high waves, and this has already been an issue so far this week. Rip currents, the high waves, that's a big factor. And beaches in North Carolina. Tell you what, these yellow shaded colors, this would be on Thursday, that represents 20-foot waves. That's not too far offshore. In the Outer Banks, 15-foot waves plus are possible. Wilmington area more like 5 to 10 feet. Either way, those are the type of waves that take a lot of sand off the beach, they cause coastal erosion, and in the case of the Outer Banks, they can shut down Highway 12. So that's why evacuations have been ordered for Hatteras Island and also for Ocracoke. Let's talk about the rip currents. This is Monday, and we've already had at least 50 rip current rescues. You got to stay out of the water this week. It's just that simple. It doesn't matter which beach you're going to. Surf City reported a similar thing about 15 rip current rescues. Stay out of the water. It's only going to get more dangerous throughout the week. I know it's tempting because the weather's beautiful and it'll stay pretty nice through Wednesday. On Thursday, we'll start to see some clouds along the coastal areas. That's our model, keeping the storm center about 200 miles offshore. But take a look. It's also saying you could have wind gusts of over 50 miles per hour at Cape Hatteras. That's a bit of a concern, isn't it? So the water overwashing is the main concern, the rip currents too, but those gusty winds in the Outer Banks could cause a couple of power outages as well, even though they're built for winds out there.
All right, y'all. So you heard the forecast. So they're thinking like around Wednesday or Thursday, Erin should be going up the coastline on the East Coast. And right now, it looks like North Carolina, they're looking at that area, the Carolinas, as being the most impacted. But the riptides, they're going to be all up and down the East Coast, y'all. All up and down. So I don't know where my North Carolina subscribers are, but please be careful. Be careful. And if it's not safe to be out there, don't be out there, you know. But as it looks now, it looks like it's the towns that are closest to the ocean that will be the most impacted. And it also, when you look at the map, it appears that if you're more inland, you might get some rain, but you should not be getting that much effects from it. So I know they are even putting us on alert up here in New Jersey. You know, I was reading an article over the weekend how they were saying even where I am, in New Jersey will be impacted by Hurricane Erin passing through. So there probably will be quite a few power outages. Yeah, because I mean, look, the outer bands can do that. They can cause a lot of power outages. So if you got a backup plan, or if you already got plans in place when there's no power, then I guess you're okay. If not, always make sure you have non-perishable foods around. That way, if power is going to be out for more than a day, you'll have something to eat. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this video, and everybody up and down the East Coast, please be careful. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.